Happy Mock Draft Monday on Tuesday. We just had week 1 of the NFL, so it's time to overreact, and I mean overreact. Some of this is going to be satirical, but we're going to do a mock draft. Special thanks to our friends over at Odds Jam. More on them a little bit later. But y'all know the deal. It's reverse Super Bowl odds. So if you got a problem with the draft order, take it up with the casinos in Vegas. But we have the New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler, not a bad performance, but you're picking first overall. Wasn't good enough to sway me away from taking a quarterback here. And I promise Saints fans, this is the last time I'm going to take Doug's baby boy in Garrett Nussmeier, at least the last time for a few weeks. Listen, it just makes sense. You got the LSU boy coming to be the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. His dad's the OC. He's got a solid arm, great gunslinger. He's been pretty darn solid this year, probably the most consistent quarterback thus far this season in college football. So we're going to go with Nuss. Cleveland Browns, pick 2, Joe Flacco. Hey, looks kind of all right. I mean, when his receivers weren't tossing up balls to the defense, kind of is what it is. But you're picking second overall. I'm sorry. Gabriel in the 3rd round and Sanders in the 5th isn't enough to persuade me from not taking a quarterback here. Maybe the coaching staff is gone. Picking second overall could be a situation they find themselves in. We're going to take a quarterback here. No Arch Manning, by the way, in this mock draft. We're just going to pretend like he is coming back because, well, that's kind of the presumption. We're going to go with Lenoris Sellers. Give me the most toolsy guy in this class. I think he had a solid game in the opener against Virginia Tech, and it was a messy game. I think it was like an hour and a half delay against South Carolina State. We'll see how they do against Vandy. I need more meat on the bone when it comes to Sellers, but he's got all the tools. New York Giants. Golly, the Jackson Dart era can't come soon enough. Watching Mr. Unlimited was pretty putrid. Malik Neighbors, he's had enough. We're probably going to go with offensive line here to help support your new franchise quarterback. You already got Andrew Thomas at left tackle. Let's get someone at right tackle. Spencer Fano out of Utah. A lot of people have him as OT1. I get it. Great movement skills. I personally still like my boy from the U, Francis Maui Noah. We'll see him a little bit later, but we'll go with Fano for now. Just in case you didn't know so, you could use code Broshmo for 35% off at Odds Jam. I mean, look at these results. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding the odds discrepancies across all sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. For example, if you bet $500 on Boise State to win at Fennell and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50 win or lose. It's that simple. With OddsJam mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and to get you started, use code Broshmo for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during that trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com and use code Broshmo and start making money the smart way. New York Jets. Justin Fields is the future. Now, with them picking 4th overall, I don't know if that kind of goes on throughout the season, but we're reacting to week 1. And Fields and that offense looked fire. The defense, hey, they kind of need someone next to Quinnen Williams. They were getting good pass rush from McDonald and Johnson, but get someone next to Quinnen Williams. Seems like, hey, that's something Aaron Glenn would do. We just went with an offensive heavy draft. Can we get some defense in here, please? We're going to go with Peter Woods, who's playing solid football. The numbers don't really necessarily reflect it. So hopefully we kind of see a big game from him in the next coming weeks. Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward. Honestly, a promising debut. A lot of penalties. wide receivers, can he catch a ball? And that's the problem. We need a wide receiver with great hands. And you know who has great hands? Jordan freaking Tyson out of Arizona State. I think he is easily the best wide receiver in this class. So tight ends, we're going to go ahead and snag him for Cam Ward. You're welcome. Oh no, the Carolina Panthers. Oh gosh, we're overreacting to week 1. Hit the emergency button. Listen, I know Bryce Young's not good to start the year, but is he a franchise guy? We're in range. We're picking 6 overall. We've invested a lot in the offense. Screw this whole Bryce Young experiment. Let's get an actual quarterback with freaking tools in here. We're going to go with Drew Aller, built like your prototypical quarterback from 10 years ago. 6'4", 6'5", 230, 240 pounds, rocket arm. Probably going to make a push for the national championship this year, push for the Big Ten title. Yeah. Sign me up. Big year for Aller. And he's got weapons. Fins up, Miami Dolphins. Oh, probably. I would dare say they had the worst week 1 of any NFL team. I'm a Dolphins fan. It hurts. We're overreacting. Blow this sucker up. I'm done with this team. When we're not looking bad, we're looking mid as hell. It's a lot of money to eat in terms of dead cap when it comes to Tua. But I think he's a lot closer to mid than he is top 10 quarterback in the league. Let's go ahead, hit the emergency button. Let's get a real quarterback in here. Tua, man, they got him off his first read. He doesn't have the mobility to kind of create. He just sits there in the pocket, easy pickings. Give me a dude with a strong lower half. I'm talking about thighs. I'm talking about legs. I'm talking about a guy with a little mobility. And probably the most fun player currently in college football, John Mateer out of Oklahoma. I'm not on the first round hype train for him. He's definitely closer to top 50 than first round for me. But hey, man, if he continues this in SEC play, I can see it. I can see it. Now we got all these quarterbacks off the board. Let's talk Las Vegas Raiders. This one was, I went through a multitude of scenarios because the defensive line looked really good in week 1 for the Raiders. You look at the cornerback room and it leaves a lot to be desired. So why not just take the top corner in this class? Kind of just makes sense to me. Jermon McCoy hasn't played it down yet. Won't be playing this week. He's coming off the ACL injury in January. But if you look at his tape from last year, he is corner 1 in this class. Hopefully when he comes back, it's just kind of rinse and repeat from last year. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics. And it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. This is the Los Angeles Rams via the Atlanta Falcons. Listen, guys, I think the Atlanta Falcons are better than pick 9. But reverse Super Bowl odds, it was out of my hands. Regardless, we're here to talk about the Rams. And I think the tackle position could use an upgrade. Rob Havenstein, he's up there in dog years. Let's get a new right tackle. I mentioned him earlier. I'm a massive Francis Maui Noah fan. It's just plug and play. Plug and play. Pick 10, New England Patriots. Sure, we could go wide receiver. We could hit the panic button. We could go offensive line. Or we could just go with the best player available. If you didn't know, now you know. Caleb Downs. is still available, still on the board. All these safeties getting paid recently too. Let's just take the best prospect in this class. And Mike Vrabel's like, yeah, you give me a defense player, I'll figure out how to use them. So, Kyle Duggar's still on the roster, only played 7 snaps. Looked like they had some promise from Wooden this past week. They also got the other former Cal safety there in Hawkins, but he's more of a depth guy in my opinion. So we're going downs. We're going downs. I don't think he makes it to 10, but you never know. You never know. Seattle Seahawks. Listen, if there was a quarterback still on the board I'm willing to take, I don't care to know what Jalen Milroe may turn into. All I know is Sam Darnold didn't look great. Was it terrible? No, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, I don't think quarterback's out of the question. I'm just saying, I don't think it's out of the question. It is at this point. 4 quarterbacks are off the board. I don't think I love anyone else in this class at this moment. I still like me some Cade Klubnik, but golly, Clemson, you need to turn it around. So where do we go here? I guess just pass rush. Getting more pass rush would be nice, helpful from the edge position. I think you could argue Ruben Baines kind of already established himself as a top 10 player in this class. Probably deserved to go higher. That's what happens when quarterbacks fly off the board. Other positions get pushed down the board. So we're going to go with Ruben Bain. And man, if I was the Dallas Cowboys, I'd be licking my chops. I wanted me some Ruben Bain. I would have loved that. I would have loved that. And I know they've invested quite a bit. Well, you lost Micah Parsons. You traded Micah Parsons. I know you invested in guys like Marshawn Nealon and Donovan Ezaraku. The jury's still out. But I don't mind grabbing another edge or maybe even a versatile player, a guy that can kick inside and out, but plays the run exceptionally well. A very toolsy prospect. We're going to go with Keldrick Folk from Auburn. We do have another pick in the first round, so we could circle back and see what other positions we could get there. Indianapolis Colts, Indiana Jones. There's your quarterback of the future. We're overreacting, guys. I feel like he's going to, maybe this is a new Baker Mayfield. Different location, plays on a 1 year, looks good, gets a big pay raise. Daniel Jones is your new quarterback. Let's go. So what do we do? What are we going to do to help out our new quarterback? There's a variety of things I think maybe turn to the defense. I know the defense looked good, but you could definitely put some upgrades there. And I'm going to be honest, Dolphins probably helped that defense look good. How about we look to the secondary? And because former Dolphins great, golly, I'm blanking. Xavier Howard, there we go. He looked good, but he was 32. He's 32 years old. You also have Kenny Moore. I feel like he's up there in years, right? How old are you, Kenny Moore? Kenny Moore is 30. Will be going into his age 31 season. So yeah, maybe we grab another corner. Let's go with someone who's been garnering a lot of hype to start the season. I was a big fan of his, not last year, but going into last season. And then he kind of had a down year at Virginia Tech, but he's looking good for LSU. Mansour Delane. Let's go. I like it. We're here at pick 14. Chicago Bears. That was a tale of two halves last night, right? Golly, everybody was crucifying poor JJ McCarthy at the stake, and then by the end of the game, it kind of flipped to Caleb Williams. What a roller coaster ride. Man, the night games were kind of fire in week 1. So if we're going to overreact, we're going to look to that offense. And if I could take a guard at 14, I would, because Jonah Jackson is one of the most overrated players in the league, in my opinion. I didn't think he was that good for the Packers. He wasn't good for the Rams. And guess what? He didn't look good last night for the Bears. All that to say, 14 still feels a little rich to take a guard. So I think I'm probably just going to go with, you know who also didn't look great? DeAndre Swift, well, he didn't have much to work with. Yeah, but he's always been a guy with not great vision. Can I just get someone who's built different with really good vision? That's Jeremiah Love. Let's see how he looks this week against Texas A&M. Cleveland Browns, this comes via the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got our quarterback of the future. Let's go ahead and get some offensive line help, because that offensive line, I think, is going to look radically different next year because they have a lot of free agents. Jack Conklin, stay healthy. Dwan Jones didn't look good. So I guess we go with tackle. That's the position of value. I'm going to go with my boy, who I think is... people need to get on the hype train of freaking Trevor Gooseby. I liked how he looked in 4 games last year, and he's looked like the best player on that Texas offensive line this year. Wonderful athlete. And then the Arizona Cardinals pick 16. If we're gonna be real, it felt like that offense should have done a lot more against the Saints. I get it. Maybe the Saints aren't as bad as people made them out to be, but still, it kind of felt like you should have won by more. Really did. Maybe we could. I think there's promise with the defense. They're young, so I want to kind of flip gears to the offense. And you look at right tackle, it's like Jonah Williams is like replaceable. Maybe we go grab another tackle to pair up with Paris Johnson, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with the hype. I don't quite have him as a first rounder. Because I just want to see how he does in conference play. But Isaiah World, former Nevada player, now he's here at Oregon. Let's see him against actual good competition. Sorry, Oklahoma State, you ain't that good. Let's see how he does against the Big Ten. And if he continues just to have a really good year, then yeah, he's probably going to be talked about as a first rounder. He's a phenomenal athlete. So we're going to snag him here. And oh my gosh, there is a tackle run going on. A tackle run. If we're the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you already have your quarterback of the future, your franchise quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers. I don't care how old he is. He's like a fine wine. He threw 4 tutties last weekend, this past weekend, a couple of days ago. He looked great. Broderick Jones hasn't looked that good, unfortunately. So we see this tackle run going. Let's get in on that tackle run. Spencer Fano has someone playing on the opposite side at left tackle who's got all the tools. He goes by the name Caleb Lomu, and we're going to get him here for the Pittsburgh Steelers to protect your young quarterback of the future in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will be back for another year, man. He played good football yesterday. Plus, do you want to take a quarterback here at 17? I want. Minnesota Vikings. Golly, JJ McCarthy. He goes from, he looks like a rookie to he's the truth. Holy crap. I don't know how to feel about the Vikings. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to feel. But what I do know is they could probably get some cornerback help. That's the one place on the roster where I'm like, they don't have a lot of good depth there. They could definitely improve what they have in terms of the starters. I like Damani Jackson out of Alabama. He is just built how you want an NFL corner to be built. Phenomenal athlete as well. He's looked good in the last 2 games. He was one of the few players that actually looked good in that Florida State game as well. I believe in him. We're taking him here. Houston Texans. Golly, what a lackluster showing. That offense couldn't get things moving. A lot of that had to do with the offensive line. They've invested in the offensive line, though. They've invested. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Because you're kind of hoping Ariante Ursary is your guy of the future. He had a rookie day. Blake Fisher, continue to develop him and see what happens. But you look at the guard position and it was kind of a struggle. So maybe we grab a guy that currently plays tackle that might be a guard in the NFL. Now, me personally, I don't like tall guards. But Caden Proctor, maybe you can make it work. Get that smash mouth gap running scheme going. in Houston. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's no denying in terms of tools. Proctor, he's got what you want in a first round talent. Just golly, looked really, really bad and disinterested in that Florida State game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What an exciting game. Them in Atlanta. Hope Wirfs get back, because why are the freaking Bucks moved everyone on this offensive line all over the place just because Wirfs was out. You had stinking Graham Barden playing left tackle. Ben Breedson was playing center. Who was playing guard? Michael Jordan. That's right. The GOAT, Michael Jordan. We're not going offensive line here. I think when healthy, they have a really good offensive line. They also did just pay Luke Godecki. Our boy, how do you say his name? Sir Dennis Vassier, former Pittsburgh linebacker. He was missing a lot of tackles. Levante David. I mean, all these old linebackers playing hella good football, but at some point, Father Time comes for us all, right? So maybe this is where the first linebacker comes off the board. How about we do that? You know, I'm looking specifically in coverage because if you look, oh my gosh, Servassier allowed a lot in coverage. I think he allowed over 100 receiving yards. Not great. How about we grab a linebacker that used to play safety, a phenomenal athlete, someone coming into their own. I'm going Sonny Styles at Ohio State. Might not yet be my top linebacker, but I think in terms of coverage, might be the best coverage linebacker. Just going to say that. Denver Broncos, Bo Nix hit the emergency button. He looked like a rookie all over again, but they got the win. This is a team with not a lot of holes. So I don't know. How do we help Bo Nix? Maybe bringing in somebody he used to throw to. And I'm not talking about Troy Franklin. I'm talking about Kenyon Sadiq, who hasn't really popped off yet. But to be fair, Oregon hasn't really needed anyone to pop off. They're kind of in the cupcake portion of their schedule. Sorry, Oklahoma State. You're just catching strays in this video. But you looked really bad. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Sadiq, man. He was my tight end one entering the year. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. Cincinnati Bengals. Shamar Stewart looked pretty solid. Trey Hendrickson, probably gone after this year. Yeah, is the relationship that strained? I don't know. Let's plan for the future that he is gone. How about we reunite Stewart with an old teammate? I'm going to go with Cassius Howe. Where you at? Out of Texas A&M, man. I really liked his tape over the summer. He has been phenomenal to start the year. Washington Commanders. I think this might start the edge run. I feel like that's just a position to go and get after. How did their pass rushers fare? I imagine they had a pretty solid game against the New York Giants, but that's not saying much. Let's see. Okay, it's not like a lot of people got after it. I mean, Dorrance Armstrong. I think Armstrong's a good Robin to somebody's Batman. Dietrich Wise being up there in pressures. That's kind of nuts. But yeah, no, they could definitely use another pass rusher. So I think we're going to go with a pass rusher. And I mean, shoot. I would have taken TJ Parker for the Bengals, but Bengals already went down that road with the Clemson pass rusher. So we're going to take Parker here for the Commanders. Had a better game against Troy, which is to be expected. Hopefully this is just a sign of things to come for him this season. San Francisco 49ers. Kittle just got placed on IR. What the hell is happening? Stay healthy, Niners. What are we doing? I think Trent Williams is finally old now. And they just extended McKivitz, so maybe you look to left tackle for your heir apparent. I think that's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna go with the guy that I think you could say is a little reminiscent of a Trent Williams. And someone who has already been getting hyped, but could now be talked about as a potential first rounder. And that's Xavier Chaplin out of Auburn. That whole Auburn offensive line just looks disgusting. Chargers. Great opening win in Brazil against the Chiefs. Not a lot of... You look at that roster and it's like, okay, yeah, maybe we improve the offensive interior. I think I've done that for the last few mock drafts for the Chargers, so let's do something different. How about we get some edge help next to Thule? And I'm going to go with my boy. I liked him last year. I'm waiting for him to really turn it on this year. LT Overton out of Alabama. In terms of athleticism and strength, he has it tenfold. Now he just needs to put it all together. Rams pick 2. We went ahead, grabbed a tackle of the future in Francis Mauigoa. I love it. But what do we do here now? You listen, you could say quarterback, but Matthew Stafford, I know he had the back issues, but coming into the year, couldn't really tell. Couldn't really tell in the season opener. I don't know. Maybe he's doing some Aaron Rodgers off-season tendering to his body, whether it's a darkness retreat or something, and he's going to prolong the longevity. Longevity. So let's not go quarterback. Instead, let's get him some help. You know, when Matthew Stafford, back when he was in Detroit, he was really good. He was throwing to this 6'5", 230-pound monster. And the Rams just don't have someone built like that with that type of athleticism. Fortunately, there is someone in the draft like that. And I know he's coming off not a great game. Didn't get a reception on 3 targets. I think some of that had to do with the conditions and Sellers not exactly having a great game. But I believe in, where you at? Nick Harbor out of South Carolina. Guys, he's 6'4", 6'5", 235 pounds. Probably runs a sub 4.4. Built like Megatron. Looks like Andre Johnson. Needs to polish his game, but he's got the want. I'm all about it. I'm all in. Detroit Lions wasn't pretty. It just wasn't. They couldn't get the run game going. Frank Ragnow, we miss you. We miss you. We miss you so much. I'm going to take Connor Lew out of Auburn to come and be the new center there for the Detroit Lions. I'm telling you, that Auburn offensive line is hella good. Kansas City Chiefs. I almost never know what to do with the Chiefs here. We could go corner. I think we go defense because eventually that offense is going to be healthy, right? Eventually those Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce, they'll all be on the field at the same time at some point this year, right? I'm thinking they might. So let's go to the defense. They got Omar Norman Lott, who they drafted. I still think you make him a part of the rotation. He could be just this nasty pass rusher, penetrator as a run defender. But let's get someone who's a bit more well balanced. He's had a really good season thus far, but again, they haven't really played anybody. I was a big fan of his coming into the season. Christian Miller out of Georgia. I think he's got all the tools. Big matchup against Tennessee this week. Let's see how he does. Dallas Cowboys. We snagged Keldrick Falk, right? At the beginning. So what are we going to do here? We've already seen a run back come off the board. Do we want to go with another run back? I don't know. Devontae Cook looks kind of good. But George Pickens is a free agent. Even if they bring him back, it would be nice to have more receiving help, right? With him and CeeDee Lamb. So I'm going to go with another Alabama player that balled out, has been balling out this year, but balled out in the Florida State game. The one guy on offense that looked like he didn't have quit. No, that's not fair. Simpson, I thought, did well in the Florida State game as well. But I'm going to go with someone who I think has high wide receiver 2 upside. I think he's got a complete game. Where are you at? In Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. And I mean, being built at 6'1", 210. he does check a lot of boxes. It's the Baltimore Ravens. That Sunday game was crazy. Crazy. But offensively, I feel good. Defensively, I look and I was like, where's that pass rush? Where is it? Let's get someone that could come in and help rush the passer, especially with, how did Mike Green play at all in that Baltimore game? Don't recall him being on the field. He got 26 snaps. Nice. No pressures. Not nice. But Tavius Robinson, 1 pressure on 48 snaps. Kyle Van Noy, he's still out there doing his thing, but 2 pressures. Odafe Owe, 2 pressures. Yeah, no, let's get some pass rush for goodness sake. Let's go with, he's another guy that's having a really good year. Deny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. I said I wouldn't be taking offensive line for them, at least in the next couple of mocks. Let's experiment with different options. Ringo didn't play, I believe, in the season opener. It was Adoree Jackson, who was utterly terrible. Awful. So maybe we grab a corner to kind of complete that trio there with Quinion Mitchell, with Cooper DeJean. And I got someone for you. We're going to go with Keith Abney. Where's Abney? There we go. Out of Arizona State. Listen, they're throwing away from Abney. That Mississippi State game, they steer cleared of him and went off. Abney, I love how fluid he is as an athlete, and just adding him there to the outside is just, I love it. I love it. And then finally, we have the Buffalo Bills, who had that great comeback, a team with not many holes. I think at this point, maybe I'm just going to kind of flex and show off a prospect. We got Milano. He's a free agent at the end of the year, right? Even if he isn't. Let's show off one of these linebackers. Matter of fact, I don't even think he's up here, but I want to give him a shout out because his teammate already went earlier. Let's talk about Arvell Reese out of Ohio State, getting after the passer. I love the short area quicks, the change of direction with him, and he's like 240. In that Texas game, he was probably the guy that stood out the most on that defense. So we're going to take him here for the Bills, but he's not on the draft simulator yet. But I imagine Trevor and company will add him to the PFF draft simulator in due time. But that's it for the video. Special thanks to our friends over at Odds Jam. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, this was an overreaction. Doesn't necessarily reflect my feelings or rankings. It was just something to have fun with. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you a fan of a team that's hitting the panic button? I know I am. Let's talk about it in the comments. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.